secularization. Religious states, notably Christianity and Islam, but others as well, are reasserting themselves, and they're reasserting themselves in two important senses. First, number of their adherents in the world is growing in absolute and relative terms as compared to non-religious worldviews. Second, religious people increasingly don't consider their faith simply a private affair, but are letting it shape their public engagements. Religion matters profoundly to people and matters to them in the public as well as the private sphere. Moreover, there is no sign that the trend will change in the foreseeable future. Now, I hope that you will not take my sketch of these trends as kind of highlighting, religious resurgence as a statement of religious triumphalism. I'm certainly aware of the dangers of religion. I'm certainly aware how much religion has often been instrumentalized to give aura of sacred to very worldly and sometimes very base causes. I'm aware also that it has been used to legitimize violence. But it is important to name data about religious resurgence and extrapolate about the future, and then to draw attention to the significant consequence of these trends. What is this consequence? Well, negatively, if religion matters, if religion will continue to matter to large numbers of people in the world today, no peace between religious people will be achieved by pretending that it does not matter, that is simply epiphenomenal, as scholars would put it, that what matters to people are economic, political, and other kinds of interest. Religion does matter, and we have to take it as that which matters. Positively, if religion matters, we have to find resources for conviviality of religious people within each faith tradition itself. This is where the significance of the common word comes in. One, it points both Muslims and Christians to what is undeniably essential in each faith and common to both, love of God and love of neighbor. It shows that that which is essential in each faith and common to both, moreover, binds them together and encourages them, indeed demands of them, that they live seeking good, not only of their own community, but also of others. So the consequence of the agreement that the dual command of love binds two faiths together is weighty, even revolutionary in the best sense of that term. The deeper your faith is, and by deeper I mean here more intelligent, more informed faith, the deeper your faith is, the more, it's not the case the deeper your faith is that the more at odds you will be with others. To the contrary, we must say, the deeper your faith is, the more in harmony with others you will live. A deep faith no longer needs to clashes. A deep faith now fosters conviviality. Now, lest someone think that this is a too quick and somewhat cheap triumph of religion over conflict, let me make plain what I'm not saying about love of God and love of neighbor in Christianity and Islam. First, having love of God and neighbor in common does not mean being somehow amalgamated into a single, the same religion. Even if there is significant agreement, and maybe there is only convergence and not agreement on love of God and love of neighbor, many differences still remain. Differences that are not simply accidental, but that are fundamental to the faith itself, each of the faiths itself. They define that faith. For instance, Christians continue to believe that the one and unique God, who is utterly exalted above all created being, that one God is the Holy Trinity, and that God has shown unconditional love for humanity in that Jesus Christ, as God's Lamb, bore the sins of the world. Muslims generally do not share these beliefs. Similarly, Muslims revere Prophet Muhammad as the seal of the prophets, and the Quran as the sacred scripture, whereas Christians generally do not do that. love does not erase these differences, but it enables people to accept others in their differences. It enables them to get to know others in their differences, and it enables them to live together harmoniously, notwithstanding their differences. Second, to affirm love of God and neighbor, that it is common to Christianity and Islam, and of course Judaism, is not to say that all the practical problems that cause tensions between these two communities have therefore been resolved. Many thorny issues remain, and they remain to be sorted out. Large and small wars in which Christians and Muslims are involved, as well as aftermaths of these wars, persecution and lack of religious freedom, problems around evangelism and dawah, and many others. Common commitment to love of God and love of neighbor does not eliminate these conflicts, as with some magic wand. What it does is this. It provides a basis on which these issues can be productively discussed. And for those of you who have been with us during the workshop, you have seen that this incipient common commitment to love of God and love of neighbor has indeed made possible very fruitful and very hard but very fruitful discussions on some of those very tough issues. Moreover, that commitment offers a way, commitment to love God and love neighbor, it offers a way to hold each other accountable to our best intentions. A Muslim target of Christian verbal attacks can say to a Christian, "How can you claim that you love me when you only speak ill of my God, when you malign my prophet, when you despise my way of life?" A Christian, a convert from Islam, can now say to a hostile Muslim, "How can you say that you love me if you want to kill me because I have followed my conscience and embraced Christian faith?" Common commitment to love of neighbor has real consequences on the ground. If practiced, it would have diffused many serious conflicts of global reach, as the example of Danish cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad illustrates. So what some people deride as an impractical and soft commitment to love of God and neighbor, and we all religious people know that it is nothing like soft, and that it is nothing like impractical. This kind of commitment to benevolence and beneficence, has tangible, real effects in diffusing conflicts and fostering conviviality. It makes possible what would otherwise remain elusive in a world in which faith traditions continue to be vibrant. We can embrace both deep faith and respect the rights of those who do not share it. Deep faith expresses itself in love, and love, understood as benevolence and beneficence, leads to respect of others' rights. Put differently, and maybe to some of you somewhat surprisingly, commitment to properly understood love of God and love of neighbor makes deeply religious persons, just because they are deeply religious persons, into dedicated social pluralists. This is why when Muslims and Christians commit themselves to love of God and of neighbor, they're not satisfying some private religious fancy. Indeed, they're actively fostering conviviality in our interdependent, pluralistic world plagued by deep divisions and collaboration, and they foster collaboration of people of different faiths in the common public space and for the common good. I don't think it's too much to say that the common word process has potential to become a historic watershed, defining the relations between two numerically largest faiths in the world today for the good of all humanity. Whether it will actually become historic or not will depend on all of us, Muslims as well as Christians, and what we do with that process. The common word is a seed that will either die or grow into a great tree under whose branches many will be able to find shade. Or, to change the metaphor, it will either gather the mounting dust of history or become a common platform for which to address effectively not just many areas of tensions between Muslims and Christians, but also many of the burning issues